Should you summon on this weekend's banner for Lynx and Valkyra? Well, I was gonna make a video that was who should summon, because so few people, in my opinion, should be summoning on this banner. However, given the news we got last night that I can share with you now in a very brief way, I'll hopefully have a lot more specifics in the coming days.
Fastidious.
Fastidious.
You definitely should not, and I don't care who you are, and it's because of this. We have 3 confirmed tactical master units arriving pretty dang soon in Wanted Realms. I'm not going to tell you a date or anything like that. I can guarantee you this guy on the right over here will be part of the anniversary, as he is currently the launcher image, but we know 2 more are coming as well. We've got the guy in the middle, we've got the girl right behind me. Are they coming for the anniversary? Are they coming later? I think probably sooner rather than later, but they are on the test server. I snagged this picture when I was on the test server last night. I can't tell you anything more because I don't have permission to share their kits, but I can tell you I've gone through it. It is a similar situation in most cases to Talon, where you can have people deployed on melee tiles and platform tiles. You also have the thing that was teased in the dev interview heading into the new year, where War Guides was interviewing them and they discussed that you'd be able to move around tiles. That's confirmed now, having looked at these kits. Very exciting, very huge. These should be must-have heroes, at least a couple of them to some extent. You cannot justify going for Valkyra and Lynx, in my opinion, now that we know these guys are coming. You can see this chick right above me. She is an esotericist, and she is a supreme arbiter, and I can tell you right now, just so you're fully informed, she is going to have a bond skill with this guy all the way on the right, who's featured on the artwork for launching the game right now in hype of the anniversary. He is an esotericist and a nightmare unit, so they share one common faction with the Esoteria Order. Then she's obviously an arbiter, he's a nightmare unit. So because he is not a chaotic unit, because he is not a arbiter unit, he will not be an ancient exclusive. She obviously will. So for that reason, I really think you should be planning your summons in both directions accordingly. I want to talk a lot more about these guys, a lot more. I want to spend a few more minutes talking about these guys as well as the guy in the middle, but let's just get the Valkyra Lynx out of the way. All right, so give me 3 minutes of your time tops. I'll spend 1 to 2 minutes total on each. Valkyra is by far the star of this banner. Valkyra is still excellent in this game. My issue with Valkyra is simply, we have all this new stuff coming, and I don't see how she is anything close to meta now for a lot of things. That doesn't mean she's not still really, really good for a lot of things, but because we have all this new stuff coming, because Arbiter has slightly fallen out of meta, and now it's maybe coming back, but with new units, like the girl behind me here, and because, like, the key thing Valkyra did so well, other units can do now, which is, you know, doing big AoE magic damage as a melee unit. You know, we have units like Eris, who I just pulled, thank God, just last week. You should go watch that video. We got Magda, of course. Lubu was introduced to the game, though he doesn't do magic damage. But we've got a lot of AoE options. We've got 2 excellent other magic options that weren't here a year ago. Magda came a year ago. Eris came for Christmas. I just think Valkyra is not as special. Moreover, Eris is kind of like Super Valkyra for a lot of content if you don't need a specific faction, because when he ults, he can also hit air units. He hits harder, and when he has A1, he also gets the extra tile. So in a lot of ways, I find him to be superior if you're running some like GVG defense or Northerner defense and you want to use Valkyra. If you're running some GVG defense and it's Northern or Arbiter and you want to use Valkyra, obviously she's still great for that, though that is less in vogue. And then certainly if you need to just have another Arbiter unit for Praetus, you know, there comes Valkyra. But all in all, man, I don't know. I think we're in an interesting spot where Valkyra is still very, very good, but it's like, do you want to be pulling for Valkyra or this new Arbiter Esotericist unit right above me? I think the vast majority of people, it's going to be the latter, right? It's going to be the new shiny thing. Let's talk about Lynx for 2 seconds. Let's watch her gyrate. We got to do that every video we talk about Lynx. She's got to gyrate for us a couple times. All right, enough of that. She is good in PvP. She's pretty good in anti-air arena, and for specific comps, she can be very good in GVG defense. But as it stands now, she's no better, in my opinion, than pretty good for anti-air once you get to the higher levels. She can be really good before the higher tiers, but I don't think you pull for someone that's a progression PvP unit that's going to fall off. And then for GVG, she can be very strong, but it's very specific niche comps that are actually not meta with the current maps. So I don't think you can justify it. If you're a huge spender, you could probably justify both. But if you're a huge spender, you don't need to watch my videos. So there you have it. That's kind of the lowdown on this banner and the general impression of these guys coming. The final things to say, we also have this unit here. He is going to be a Nightmare unit and a Northerner unit. I think this is an interesting thing in a couple ways. Feels like the meta when it comes to these top Nightmare units is somewhat moving towards the Watcher version of those Nightmare units. Of those Nightmare units. What do I mean? Well, you know, it used to be you'd always use a Kagiri if you had Awakenings, and certainly you'd always use a Wukong, and you use them with Torador. That's the meta for Semrah for APOC 2. But now with Abyss, and we know Abyss 2 is coming, which, by the way, if you don't, I did a whole video on it. You guys should go check it out. But it's already featured here. Oh, let's claim my rewards really fast. What'd I get? Not too shabby. Maybe a little shabby. Actually, maybe just a little shabby. If we go over here, you go to the bottom, you can see Abyss 2. Let me move my head out of the way. Now you'll see it. It's coming, right? And it seems like Ingrid comps, or even using Leia for certain things, but really Ingrid comps with those guys. Oh, I got to move this image out of the way. They seem superior for a lot of stuff than Torador. And people will even use Torador just as a tank because he's so good with the defense break and stuff, but still lean Watchguard comp. I wonder if this new Tactical Mastery unit, I'll pop him up on the screen again, I wonder if his presence in the game is going to move us back towards potentially a Nightmare thing for certain things. I could see Tactical Mastery units, the boss content where they could really excel is stuff where maybe you want to move around to avoid stuff. So, I mean, is a great example of that Abyss? Maybe. Actually, maybe a really good example. Also, you see that he's Northerner. We see them pushing Falcia on us right now. She's on raid up next weekend. And it makes me wonder, is Northerner happening? Because they told us in June Demi would get a buff. She did. And they said soon after Demi, Elder would get a buff. So that means he probably is going to get one in July. I would think Elder will get a buff in the next patch around the anniversary. Elder, if Elder was good, you could start having the makings of meta things for Northerner in boss content. Combine this new Northerner Nightmare guy, combine Falcia, who had a big buff a couple months ago. You guys are all going to see in my videos next week. She is a rock star now. She hits really hard. Doesn't mean she's perfect for every account, but she's basically hard guaranteed at 200 at most. So it's a pretty exciting proposition. You could see the new guy plus Elder plus Falcia. Is that the makings of something unique? Maybe Jira can find her way back into boss meta. I'm not saying this is going to happen Cassiel, but it seems like we're maybe heading into that direction. If I told you guys a year ago that Watchguard would be the best faction for a lot of things, a lot of people wouldn't believe me. Watchguard was a mess. This was the worst faction in the game. They made a very concerted effort, starting with Ingrid, who was introduced right after the anniversary last year, into Kagiri, into Wukong, into Diao Chan. It goes on and on. Talon, Eris, Lucius came around on the anniversary, all this stuff. Next thing you know, Watcher is amazing. It's such a good faction. Could they do something similar with the North Throne? It's also worth mentioning this banner that's in question, Lynx and Valkyra, are both North Throne units. Is this some big thing that's happening? Is this a direction we're being pushed? I think it's worth keeping in mind. So if we zoom out big picture, and hopefully I'll be able to talk about these new heroes a lot next week. I'm hoping for more news and permission from the devs next week, but we know these three guys are coming. Could these guys be reshaping, metas and top units? I think it's likely enough, and I think these units are unique enough that it's extremely difficult to justify summoning on like a non-guaranteed banner at all right now, with all the things that are coming. So something like a Valkyra and a Lynx banner this weekend? Hell no. Do not do it. Please don't do it. Next weekend it's going to be harder to resist with Beelzebub and Beatrix. Those are two top-tier heroes. But that being said, I think it's going to be a layoff for most people as well. I'll tell you more next week, hopefully when I know more and when that banner's closer. But these guys are new, they're juicy, they're unique. So even if they're mediocre because they're so unique, they become really good, at least for a long time until you have more options. I think they're going to be better than mediocre, having looked at it. But really, really, really nice units coming. Really interesting space the game is in right now. Thank you guys so much for watching. I've been Fastidious. If you like my stuff, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Make sure you like this video. Share it with your mother. Thank you to R-Type for editing this video. And I'll see you guys real soon. Bye.
Fastidious.